Hello!
Ahoy!
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 21.
Yeah, Blackjack.
Well done, you won.
Thanks.
Yeah, Episode 21 of Season 2. We're getting there. 4 more.
Of Bottom of the Stream.
Yeah.
I'm Nick.
I'm Adam, and we've got 4 more left to go in this season.
Yeah.
Before the big end of season. We're going to say what we're going to do?
Can do.
Do you want to?
Yeah, because
I've not even thought about this. I'm just doing it on the fly.
No, that's fine. Because we did announce it
to our Patreons.
I never know. Is it Patreon or Patreon?
Patreon. Yes.
Okay. We have released a few bonus episodes on our Patreon stream. And we did some Oscar previews.
We did.
A couple of weeks ago. And we did announce that between Season 2 and Season 3,
yep,
i.e. in about a month,
yeah, God,
we will do a special show for a week.
Yeah.
And we are going to present to you the Botscars.
I love that name.
So we are in the process of coming up with a load of categories.
Yeah, they're not going to be the boring, standard, normal categories.
No.
There might be some of them. But
So
we'll come up with some funky ones as well.
Yeah. And so any film that we have done a show on in our first 2 series.
Yep, so 50 films.
Is eligible. So we'll come up with some categories. We'll get the nominations.
We'll make some awards.
Give out some awards.
Yeah, let's get Ross to design us one. Ross, if you're listening, please design us an award. Shall I quickly run through the socials?
I think we should. If they were real, they shouldn't be awards. We should just give people a fish.
Good call.
Just like, here's a fish.
Here's a fish.
Yeah.
Or like a frozen one or a fresh one from a fish market.
Yeah, like I meant an actual fish from a fishmonger. So nice. Like you can't put it on your mantelpiece.
Not from a pet shop.
Oh, no. I meant a dead. You could eat it. Eat your award.
Here's your award. It's a fish.
Get it stuffed.
Like a tench or a perch or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what live in streams?
I don't know fish.
I don't know.
Pike.
What are we talking about? I'm going to do the socials and then we'll get back on track.
Yeah, stop carping on.
Oh, wow. Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, please. It's at BOTS_podcast. Instagram is the same, at BOTS_podcast. Facebook.com/bottom of the stream. The website is www.bottomofthestream.com. And the email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com. Patreon. Nearly forgot Patreon again, even though we've only just been talking about it.
I know.
Patreon.com/bottomofthestream, where you can help support the show and give us a little bit of cash every month. And we'll give you some extra tidbits and some merch and bits and bobs, extra bonus episodes. Like we said, we did an Oscars preview and recap. And yeah, it's $2 a month, the lowest one.
Yep.
$2, $5 or $10, please.
Correct.
Excellent.
If you can't do that,
yes,
then please go onto Podchaser or Apple Podcasts and drop us a review.
Yeah.
Because it really helps.
It really does help, and it's really nice to read them.
Helps the old algorithms.
Yeah, apparently so.
Boosts us up some of these tables, yeah.
Gets more ears on the podcast.
Exactly.
That's what we need. We need to be more of you. We sounded quite professional then. I started off the sentence and you finished it. It was like we were proper podcasters for a minute there.
Just for a minute.
It won't last long.
No.
Have you got any Netflix news for me, Nick?
Should I have?
Nope.
I feel like we discussed this and I specifically said I don't have any Netflix news.
Oh yeah, I'm the one who's got the Netflix news.
Yeah, I've got other stuff.
Okay, I've got Netflix news.
Yeah. Adam, have you got any Netflix news?
Yes, Nick, I have. I just wanted to talk about the Oscars. Netflix got nominated for 24 Oscars.
Yeah.
It's more than any other movie studio and came away with 2. So Laura Dern got Best Actress for Marriage Story.
Yep.
And they have the Best Documentary.
Okay.
I think they won.
Is that the first acting Oscar that a Netflix thing has ever got?
Don't know. You've asked me a question I'm not prepared for.
Okay.
I would say yes. I can't think of any others.
Yeah, I think it might be.
I think it might be. But 24 and 2, The Irishman got snubbed completely.
So it got 10 nominations.
Yeah.
And a big fat zero,
zero
which is
awards.
not the first time that has happened to Martin Scorsese.
No, it's not. The Academy don't seem to like him very much.
Yeah.
I've still not seen The Irishman, so I can't say if it's deserved its snub or not. I will watch it at some point this year. That will be in my eyes.
Same. I'll get there.
I think that's the only Netflix news I had. I just wanted to mention the fact that they've got 24 nominations.
It's not a great
awards.
conversion rate, is it?
No, it's not.
To be honest.
Do you think it is a snub by Hollywood? Or by the Academy?
It's hard to look at it any other way.
Yeah. But then they did get one of the biggest awards in there. But is it like a... I don't know.
But the people who vote for these awards are these actors and actresses, producers who Netflix is helping out. So it shouldn't be, should it? It shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't be.
But it is something new.
And they don't like change.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't like change.
It's non-trad.
Yeah. It's interesting. It'd be interesting to see how it changes over the next few years.
Well, and they're already loading up for next award season. We've mentioned it a couple of times. So, what's David Fincher's new film that's coming out? Mank.
Yeah.
And Ron Howard's got something in Netflix. I was reading it earlier. I can't remember what it is, but they're doing the same for next year.
Yeah.
They've got some big directors, traditionally award-winning favorite directors, and their next project's at Netflix. So
interesting.
Maybe it'll just be a matter of time.
Interesting indeed.
Who knows?
Have you been watching anything at the top of the stream?
I've finished Next in Fashion.
I would argue that's bottom of the stream TV, but
yeah,
because I've never heard of it.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, that's fine. Is it good?
Yeah, it was good actually. Yeah, quite. Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was just a silly reality TV show, but
yeah,
it's like Project Runway, but on a bigger budget.
Big budget Project Runway.
Yeah, because
is it American?
All bells and whistles. Well, both the hosts are British, but I presume so.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and all the contestants from all over the world, so it is properly like global. So, and they pair like designers up from different countries. So, but yeah, I presume it's all done in the States.
Excellent.
Yeah, well, that was quite fun. And then I watched a rom-com.
Oh, of course you did.
Oh, yeah, and it was great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this is definitely top of the stream because I know when it came out a couple of months ago, it was all over my profile, and it is Always Be My Maybe.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
So it stars Ali Wong and Randall Park.
Ali Wong.
Yeah. Randall Park you might know from some of the Marvel films. So he's like an agent. He's in both the Ant-Men.
Ant-Men.
Yeah. And that's a plural of Ant-Man?
Ant-Man films.
Okay.
Pluralised films, not man.
It was great. It was really good.
Yeah.
And it's probably got one of the best cameos in it since Bill Murray in Zombieland.
Wow. Because that is the best cameo of all time.
And this is probably a second place to that.
Who's the cameo?
Keanu Reeves.
No way.
Yeah.
He cameos in everything these days.
He's brilliant.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely hilarious.
Took his mum to the Oscars.
I know.
Bless him.
Absolute legend.
What a lovely mum.
Oh, and that's the good thing about this cameo because he's playing himself, but he's an absolute bastard. And Keanu Reeves is famous
so he's
for
playing
being...
Keanu Reeves?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
And obviously he's famous for being very altruistic and a really nice guy.
Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah.
Mr. Hollywood Nice Guy.
Yeah.
I might have to check that out. I've heard good things about it.
It's funny. It is funny.
Excellent.
Yeah. Quite a pleasant surprise it was.
Yeah. Cool. I will check that out. Go and check that out. What was it called?
Always Be My Maybe.
Excellent. I will check that out.
Cool.
I have watched an entire TV series again.
Of course you have.
It was quite rainy over the weekend.
It
I don't know
was.
if you noticed.
It's been terrible.
We had Storm Kiara?
Yeah.
Kiara? Something like that. Some storm coming at us. Took 4 of my fence panels out.
My barbecue went for a walk.
So I thought...
patio furniture's up against the fence.
So I thought, screw this. I'm just going to binge Netflix for a bit. Because Lock and Key came out.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Which is Joe Hill's latest project. So Joe Hill is Stephen King's son, as I've probably mentioned hundreds of times before. He writes these graphic novels, or used to write these graphic novels called Lock and Key, and that's been Netflix have converted that into a TV series. There was actually 3 different pilots made, 3 different streaming services, and Hulu turned this one down, and Netflix brought it, and now it's become this huge success on Netflix.
Nice. What did you think?
Excellent.
It's pretty much the next thing I'm going to watch.
It should be the next thing you're going to watch. Yeah. I'm going to make a statement that's going to get me atted, big style. I think Lock and Key is the show that Stranger Things wants to be.
Right, okay.
It's that good.
Oh, wow,
It is that good. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Good.
Really, really, really good. Really fascinating story. Really enjoyed it. It's mainly kids, like Stranger Things, but it's really good.
No, I knew that would be up your street, but I'm definitely going to check that out because I have heard good things.
I did look to get the graphic novels, but the complete set's like £95.
Of course it is.
And that's not happening. I mean, I don't even own the Dark Tower ones.
Because it's popular.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I haven't really had a chance to watch anything else, so that's all I watched this week.
Cool. I've just got a couple more things before we crack on and talk about this movie. So first, I've got some admin from last week.
Okay.
So we were talking about the, quite frankly, deplorable film He's Out There.
Yeah.
And I got my blonde actresses confused.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, because I stated that Yvonne Strahovski was in Battlestar Galactica.
And she isn't?
No. That's Katie Sackhoff.
Oh, of course it is.
So I apologise
if
anyone spotted that. So yeah,
we didn't get tweeted, so nobody spotted it, I don't think.
Yeah. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about is an 80s legend.
Okay.
Rick Moranis.
Proper legend.
Yeah.
Full on 80s legend.
And talking about that he may be making a bit of a comeback.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the rumour.
For what?
Well, what would you say? There's a few movies I'd associate Rick Moranis with.
Yeah,
if you think about
Ghostbusters.
it, he was
in every big 80s movie.
Yeah, mid to late 80s. You could reel off hit after hit.
Yeah.
Go on, give me a couple.
Ghostbusters probably is most famous.
Yeah.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Stop right there.
Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. I'll stop now. I'm glad you stopped me there because I couldn't think of any more.
Parenthood.
Yeah. I knew there was loads more. I just couldn't think
Little
of
Shop of Horrors.
Amazing film.
Brilliant. So,
I was just having a mental blank. So you've stopped me at Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I have.
This excites me. Why have you stopped me there, Nick?
Because, so according to a really good... So I'm going to give a shout out to a website.
Okay. Feel free.
Pajiba.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
I've heard
spelled
of it.
Pajiba.
Cool.
And so pajiba.com, they're a really good source of pop culture news and also a lot of political stuff as well.
All right.
But really good website. And they had a story last week that there is a rumour that Rick Moranis is in negotiations to star in a reboot of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
A reboot?
Well, it says reboot, but then it describes the sort of log line for the film.
Right.
And it definitely sounds like a sequel. Now, the really interesting part about this is Rick Moranis sort of retired in the 90s.
Yeah, 97, I think.
Now, do you know why that is?
Did his wife die?
She did.
So left him with a young child?
So his wife died of cancer in the 90s and he retired to look after his kids, basically, to be a stay-at-home dad, which, you know, he sort of done a couple of interviews where he says, I feel really privileged that I'm in a position that I'm able to do that.
Fair play.
So what's really interesting about this reboot, so apparently Rick Moranis is in negotiations to come back as Wayne Zielinski.
Right.
Josh Gad is in negotiations to play his grown-up son.
Right.
But
that sounds cool already.
Yeah. So the logline or the synopsis for the movie, which doesn't have a title, is basically that Wayne Zielinski has been tinkering in his attic for decades, struggling to deal with the grief of losing his wife to cancer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's like...
That's some heavy shit.
Yeah, exactly. For a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids threequel. And it says, when we first meet him, he has accidentally shrunk himself and is flying around on a drone. He is lost in a continuous tinkering and experimenting that often puts himself and his family in jeopardy. He reveals he shut himself away to try and invent a solution to help shrink his wife's cancer, but found it hard to cope when he ran out of time.
Whoa.
I was like, this is very high concept and highly emotional for a... Well, it is a kids' movie, really.
Yeah, they are kids' movies.
I mean, it sounds really interesting.
Sounds like it's going to be Honey, I Shrunk Myself.
Yeah. But like the parallels between his...
Yeah, his real life. And
I was like,
wow.
Yeah. So keep your eye out for that, because I read that and I was like, that's really got me interested.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
And I would probably cry all the way through.
Yeah. It's made me want to cry now.
But yeah, I just, that really stood out to me.
Which is better, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or Honey, I Blew Up the Kid?
I'm going to say the first one.
I disagree.
I've not
Honey, I Blew
seen...
Up the Kid is amazing.
I don't know if I've seen that anywhere near as much, so I'd probably have to go back and watch I Blew Up the Kid.
Do it.
Yeah.
Watch both.
Yeah. They're good.
They're both
They're very
for
good.
their time.
Yeah.
The effects and the special effects were incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I've not seen either of them for a long time. I
No,
don't know if
me
they still
neither.
hold up, but I'm
Bet
sure
my,
they
bet
do.
my kids would like them. Actually.
Yeah, get your kids on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Excellent.
Good
I'll come
thinking.
round when you get your kids on it. I'm coming round.
Okay.
I'll watch it with them.
Fine.
I'll watch it with them.
So
Right.
yeah, we'll see how that
Nothing
develops.
to do with Netflix, but it's quite an interesting
Yeah.
bit of film news. I like it. We're branching out.
Might end up on that other streaming service that we're not supposed to talk about.
Right, we're like 15 minutes in. Shall we talk about the film?
Yes, let's do it.
This is going to be a long fucking night. So, this week we watched a film called The Endless. The Endless is a sci-fi from 2017. It is a 15. It times in at 1 hour and 51 minutes, currently rated at 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb. High figure.
That is
For
a
one
high
of-
figure.
For one of our films, that's a high figure. Stars Aaron Moorhead as Aaron, Justin Benson as Justin.
See
You're
what
noticing
they've
a trend
done.
here.
Yeah.
Both of them have been in films before, but they kind of make films together.
Yep.
Because they both directed this film, and the film was written by Justin Benson.
Okay.
So it's kind of a two-man two-man team.
Yep.
Apparently, they cast themselves in this film to keep the costs down on the budget because they didn't. Because there's more actors in this than they've ever employed before on any of their other films, and it's the first one they've ever had to employ a casting director for.
Okay.
Which is interesting. So I can't really tell you much about who they are because they only really work in their own films.
So I believe this is their third film.
Yeah, it is their third film. But they've never really worked with anybody else. That's
No.
what I'm trying to get at. They've never been in other films. So yeah, they're an interesting pair when you start reading up about them. So this film's a quasi-sequel to one of their earlier films.
So I read an interview with them after I'd watched the film.
I've read a bit about them.
And they state out this is a sequel.
Really?
Yeah.
Straight in?
Yeah. But it's not. Because you can watch it on its own as a film.
Yeah, and you could watch the other one and never watch this one. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The other one's called Resolution, I think.
Yeah, and we'll come into where
we'll get to that.
Where they cross over, so to speak.
I'm looking forward to talking about this one, but I'm really scared of it.
No, me too. I think it'd be really interesting.
There's something completely different to what we've done before.
It is. There's a lot going on, but it'd be good to talk through.
Yeah.
Can I say to start off with?
Yeah.
This, obviously, because we don't know. How do we put things on our long list? It is basically, what's the picture look like?
Yeah.
Is the synopsis sound interesting?
Have we ever heard of it?
Or terrible?
Sometimes I don't even read the synopsis.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I've never heard of that. That's going on.
I would say that this, when I chose the Anomaly as my wild card a few weeks ago,
hoping for.
This is the sort of thing I was hoping I would get.
Interesting.
A bit more...
Good.
I don't really want to give away good or not, but a bit more clever.
Yeah.
A bit more of a thinker.
Bit of a mind muncher.
Yeah.
I've just made that term up and I'm going to use it.
Okay, good.
Do you have a one-word review?
No, because that's 2 words.
You
The
can
one
do
I was
2
gonna
words
say.
if you want.
No, I'm going to use 1 word.
Okay.
Loopy.
Loopy. That is loopy in more ways than one.
Yeah.
I like how you make them double meaning sometimes.
Okay, good.
It entertains me. So this film starts with one of those, you get the quotes come up on the screen sometimes at the beginning of films from like famous authors and stuff. I've got the quotes. Would you like me to read the quotes?
Yes, please, because the text was too small and I couldn't focus on it on my TV.
There was a lot of really small text. So the first one is a H.P. Lovecraft quote, and it says, "The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown."
Oh,
interesting. And then there's another quote from an unknown source that says, "Friends tell each other how they feel with a relative frequency. Siblings wait for a more convenient time, like their deathbeds."
yeah. Very good.
I really like both of those quotes, and that second one really means something towards it by the end of the film.
Yes, it does.
So after that, we cut straight into the film. Now, this is probably the lowest budget film we've done this season.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Maybe even lower than Murder Party was our lowest last season. I
Yeah.
couldn't find the budget. I looked everywhere for it. I couldn't find it. But I'm pretty sure it's probably as low, if not lower than Murder Party as well.
Yeah, maybe. It wouldn't be far above.
It might be the lowest budget film we've ever done. That's what I'm trying to say. But you would not know it from watching it.
Yes, it's clever.
It's really well made. So we start off right at the beginning of the film. There's a package arrive at somebody's door, and this guy opens the door. This is the first time we meet Aaron, and inside the package is a VHS cassette, like an old-fashioned video camera cassette.
Yeah.
And he kind of finds a camera, or he goes to find a video player of some sort, and he watches a video, as you would do if somebody sent you a VHS through the post. Although it'd be quite difficult these days, I think.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have I've got a video player, but I'd have to reset up everything. I don't.
So do you think this is set now? It doesn't really matter.
That's the unanswerable question.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, and it's also possibly impossible to answer.
Maybe.
Going on by the storyline of the film. It might not be set any time ever. And the video is of a lady who is clearly at some sort of cult. Camp. And she's talking about an ascension, but when they go on their trip to because it's like a suicide cult, they think it's a suicide cult. And she's saying when they go on their trip to the ascension, they will eventually come back.
Yeah.
So it's not like a one-way trip.
Correct.
They will go and they will come back. And so we get the idea that it's some sort of UFO death cult. And we find out pretty much straight away in the film that these two guys escaped that when they were younger.
Yeah, Justin and Aaron.
Justin and Aaron.
Our lead characters.
Brothers.
Yes.
They're brothers.
They left this UFO death cult.
Yeah.
A number of years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to struggle all the way through this.
No, it's fine.
There's so much to this film.
We'll pick it up between us.
Pick it up and go between us.
So, and they're essentially scraping out a living, literally working as cleaners, trying to make ends meet.
They don't appear to be getting on as well as brothers would do.
Yeah, well,
They have a bit of an argument, and Aaron shaves a line in Justin's head.
It's really funny. So there's
It is really
a couple of bits in this film where it's really funny.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. So Aaron's given Justin a haircut again, trying to scrimp and save.
Yeah.
And they have a bit of an argument, but it's kind of a friendly argument.
Because Justin's going to a deprogramming class, which is what cult survivors go to.
So basically in therapy.
Forever, apparently. It's like a therapist, yeah.
And, so they're having a bit of a back and forth, and Aaron just buzz cuts right through the middle of his head. Like in Jackass or something. It was really funny.
It was never mentioned again.
No.
Although he was at his deprogramming class afterwards.
With the stupid haircut.
With the stupid haircut. He didn't shave the rest of it off, which I thought was quite good. We found out at that point as well that Aaron was like a teenager when they left. So Justin's the older one. So Aaron's younger.
They use these therapy sessions as basically, this is your exposition. And this is what happened. We left the cult. Justin was looking after his younger brother. They don't look particularly like there is a particular age difference between them, but it's clearly played that there is. And Justin was very much the guardian,
the older sibling.
And he sort of led them out of this cult.
Yeah. So they get back together after this class, and they kind of have this debate, and Aaron tells Justin that he wants to go back.
Yeah.
Even if it's just for a visit, he wants to go back and see the people
he says he wants some closure.
Yeah, he needs closure from it. He grew up with these people, and he's kind of never got to say goodbye. He just wants to visit. So Justin eventually agrees to 1 day and 1 night.
Yeah.
And we'll go back.
No more.
Yeah, absolutely no chance any more than that.
So that's pretty much, that's it. That's your setup.
Start your film. And then,
so they're soon in the car heading back to camp.
Yes. And they're kind of, there's a bit of a driving montage. They're driving together. And Aaron starts singing at one point.
Yeah, so it's just a couple of scenes used to build their relationship.
There's one song used all the way through this film.
Yeah,
it's "House of the Rising Sun."
Yeah.
Do you know why they use that song?
Why do they use that song?
Because the lyrics to that song are in the public domain, and you don't have to pay for them.
Fine.
But it's a really haunting rendition of it that plays pretty much all the way through the film, and I really liked it. It really set the tone. You hear it a lot.
Yeah, there's a couple of versions of that song that I've heard over the years. If you slow it down, it's creepy. It's quite a haunting song.
It is a really haunting song. And yeah, it's free to use apparently. It's for some, I don't know why it's in the public domain, but it is. On their way there to this camp, they stop at like a memorial on the side of the road.
Yeah, so it's just like a little
just like
a
fence post with some flowers and a few drawings on. And
so it's like you see at the side of the road at the site of a crash.
Yeah.
It turns out it is where their mum died.
Yeah. She was killed in a car accident.
Yeah. The first weird thing happens, really.
Yeah, very weird.
So they pick up a picture.
Yes.
Of a crayon drawn picture.
Yeah, but like the one from last week from He's Out There.
And it is of the two boys and their mother.
Yeah.
And one of them, presumably Aaron.
Yeah, it was Aaron.
Says he drew that picture when he was a kid.
Yeah.
And it's not aged a day.
It has not aged a day. I think he says somebody must have left this. This must be a new one. Somebody must have left this here. And Justin's like, no, that's the one we left there when we were kids.
Yeah.
But it's not tarnished. It's not weathered. It's not aged in the slightest. It's almost like it was left there yesterday. So that's your first little inkling that something's not quite right in this film.
Then there's loads of birds just flying in a circle.
Just flying around in circles.
Yeah. Things are starting to get creepy.
Things are starting to get creepy and weird. And eventually they arrive at the camp. And they get there, they get out of the car, and they're greeted by a friendly chap who appears to be like he describes himself as not the leader later on, but he certainly seems to be in charge, or takes charge.
He's certainly chief greeter, if nothing else.
This is Hell. His name is Hal. His name is Hal. Hal. And Justin points out to Aaron at this point that nobody has aged in the last 10 years.
Yes, they're all like I remember them.
They all look exactly the same.
And Justin says, no, you're right, but they're all in their 40s.
Yeah. And then he says, you have to remember they've all been castrated.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of did a double take at the screen. I was like, what?
Because Justin's been telling everyone that, it's this UFO death
like
cult.
News when they escaped.
Yeah,
it wasn't
it's like Kimmy Schmidt, isn't it? Yeah. It's like out the bunker. So, they were on the local news, Justin and Aaron. Yeah, we've escaped from this death cult. They were going to go up to do a mass suicide because they thought the aliens were coming to get them. Yeah. And all the men have been castrated. And
I think he's just embellished the facts to produce the news story.
But Hal's quite nice to him on greeting. So he's, welcome back. It's a long time since we've seen you. Come on, let's get in here. Let's have some dinner. Let's feed you. You've had a long journey.
So they they kind of sit down and have some dinner, and they meet up with a few of the other people.
Yep.
And it's just a bit of a meal and a get to know each other again.
Beardy Tim.
Beardy Tim and Anna.
Yeah. Smiley Dave.
Smiley Dave. Have you given them all nicknames?
Smiley Dave just smiled.
He did.
Because he's got... I can't remember what they say. He fell on his head or something like that. But he doesn't talk.
Yeah.
He just walks around with a smile. So he's like the first person they see when they drive in. And it's just ups the creep factor, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does get creepier as it goes through. It's very strange. And then they kind of head back to their dorm room that they've been assigned or given.
Bunk beds.
But before they go to bed, Justin decides he's going to go out for a run.
Yeah.
He runs past this guy who appears to just be walking around
But
the camp.
he is walking, but he
Marching,
is marching.
almost.
Yeah.
They passed him earlier and they were driving in as well, didn't
He's
they?
like head down, arms pumping.
Just going for it.
Yeah, sort of mumbling to himself.
Completely ignoring everything around him.
Yeah.
They met him earlier in the film as they were driving into the camp.
And he doesn't seem to respond to when Justin says, hi.
Yeah, just ignores him completely, blanks him. That's kind of it. And then Hal, I'm going to say Hal all the way through now. You know I'm going to.
I don't know what accent you're going for if you're pronouncing it hell.
Hal. Hal takes Justin to his own cabin, or to Hal's cabin, and they have a bit of a chat about what's gone on in the past, don't they? And
Yeah, so it's night by this point, so they've all been sitting around a campfire.
yeah,
And
a little bit merry maybe.
yeah, they're drinking homebrew.
Yeah, they make
Basically.
their own amazing beer.
Yeah.
I think it's how it's described. It's like the best beer you can imagine.
And this is basically how they are saying they are earning money for the camp. So they're making and selling this. Yeah, I'm going to call it homebrew. Yeah,
That's exactly what it is.
moonshine, whatever you want to call it. And as you say, Hal sort of says, I want to show you something.
Yeah.
In his cabin. That sounds dirty.
It wasn't dirty.
No, it wasn't.
What
does he show him?
He's got like an equation written on his He's got like a blackboard on the wall, hasn't he?
The only thing he shows him that's hardcore is some hardcore maths.
There's a lot of hardcore maths on this board, but he won't tell him what it is and what it solves.
No.
He's kind of
He says, I've been working on this for
really
years.
vague about it, isn't he?
Yeah. And Justin says, why did you send us a video?
Yeah, Hal says to him, why did you come back now?
Yeah.
What's brought you back now? And Justin says, well, you sent us this video. And Hal's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
No.
We don't have any videos. We didn't send any videos.
He does say, though, I think it's the first time he says it. He says a couple of times through the movie. He says to Justin, you are now old enough to understand why we're here.
Yeah.
And he says that there's something bigger than us here.
Yeah.
Again, we're just ratcheting up the,
The creepy tension.
ominousness.
He also says, nothing here ends,
Yes.
which I thought was quite a good one because it's endless.
Yeah.
Like the name of the film.
Yeah. And going back to a previous thing we've talked about, pretty sure they don't say the endless in this film at any point.
I'm not sure.
Not that I remember.
I think I might have spotted it, but
Okay.
maybe not. What I noticed at this point is that nobody really seems that surprised that they're back.
Oh, no. No.
It's almost like they were expecting
They
them
were
to
always
come.
going to come back.
Yeah, it was
at
like
some
they
point.
were always going to come back, and
Yeah.
nobody's surprised by the fact that they've turned up. Aaron's sitting around the campfire. Justin's kind of left Aaron alone at this point, and he's talking to this lady who's called Anna.
Yep.
And they knew each other when they were great. She's older than him, so because she said she used to babysit for him and
Yeah,
look after him when he was younger.
She says she makes a lot of the clothes for
Yeah,
everyone.
she makes all
on
the
camp.
clothes in the camp. So she says, "Do you
Kind
want
of
to
a
come?"
mother figure, isn't she?
Yeah. Although she doesn't look that old,
No.
but then nobody does. So and she says to Aaron, "Do you want to come back to my room and look at my clothing designs?" Great chat up line. So Aaron goes with her, and then it cuts to Justin. He's met up with this other guy, Shane, who's showing him magic tricks.
Yep.
And he does an amazing magic trick with a baseball, and it's
Just weird.
just weird.
Weird
It's
stuff.
so far, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I must admit, I really want to see where this is going. Already, I'm quite in on this.
I thought there was a real Lost vibe to this.
I was going to say that at the end. It really reminded me of Lost.
Yeah, we'll come on to that more. But yeah, it sets a lot up of just weird stuff.
Yeah.
To answer.
Then they all kind of get back together, and this is the first really truly weird bit of the film. And they play a game called The Struggle.
Yeah.
Or they call it The
It's
Struggle.
like a ritual, isn't it?
It's like a ritual that everybody goes through. And it's basically a tug of war, but you can't see what's on the other end. It's like
The rope goes up into the sky.
Into the forest.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like an unseen force that you're tugging war against. tugging war.
But Justin says to Aaron, "Oh, it's Smiley
Dave on
a ladder," and Smiley Dave did go running into the woods
just before it started. So
So
you don't know, it could have been. Aaron steps up and he has a go, and he eventually, on his second attempt, wins.
Yeah.
So he kind of defeats whatever he's playing against. And then Hal kind of convinces Justin to go for it. And Justin picks up the rope and instantly just loses.
Yeah, but he gets quite violently
Tugged
off.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
And he is like got rope burns all over his
Yeah,
hand.
he literally
Because
rips his skin
when
off his
Aaron
hands.
did it, although he did like a fisherman's knot, didn't he, round his waist and
yeah.
he used this, but
Which was brave, I thought.
But
'cause
it was,
You don't
but
know what's on the other end of this.
it
It
wasn't-
pulled you in half.
but it wasn't a violent thing, was it?
No.
But as soon as Justin
straight
went to it, he was tugged off very violently.
Yeah, absolutely.
He flew through the air.
So Justin he's not humiliated, but he's kind of embarrassed by that.
A little bit, yeah.
And it's kind of the end of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it for the
nobody
night,
else wants to
isn't
go. And Aaron and Justin get back together, and Aaron eventually manages to persuade Justin to stay for an extra day.
Yeah.
So he's like, we'll do one more day. So I've not seen enough of this weird shit yet. And they go back to their room, and they keep finding these post-it notes all around the room.
Yes.
And all it says on them is, please be quiet.
Yeah.
And they seem to be everywhere. So that somebody's not happy with the noise.
Yeah,
that
there's
everybody's
a
making.
few variations like keep the noise
Keep the
down,
noise
please
down.
be quiet,
Yeah.
I'm sleeping,
They're
all that.
kind of
yeah.
all over camp. And then they're lying, it's like a bunk bed, and they're lying on these bunk beds. And Justin just suddenly comes out with the fact that Anna might be a paedophile.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere.
He's like, oh, she always had eyes for you when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And then they have quite a funny exchange again because Aaron's like, well, women can't be paedophiles.
Women can't be paedophiles. I thought that was quite funny. They definitely can.
Because he starts to get into the actual logistics of why.
Yeah.
And it's just quite funny. And Justin just keeps telling him, go to sleep.
It's a really nice way to build their relationship because so far all we've seen is this creepy shit that's going on. And now we kind of get in some character moments, which I really like. And then the next morning, you kind of get a bit of a montage of them doing camp activities. So they go out first thing and they're shooting some bottles off a log.
Yep, do some fishing.
Go fishing. Justin goes for another run and he sees that guy again.
Yeah.
And
he kind of just disappears into the bushes.
Yeah, he kind of runs around a corner and then when Justin gets there, he's completely gone, vanished. But he finds a trainer on the floor.
Yeah.
Like a sneaker on the floor. But it's bloody. It's got
it's got not
a lot.
Yeah, but it's clearly
drops
got
of blood
on it. And then he looks up and there's like a storage container.
Yeah.
And it kind of just like bounces.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah.
It kind of the sun kind of goes off to start with.
Yeah.
It kind of glitches dark and then light again all of a sudden. Then some sand shoots up as if somebody's just ran past him and the sand's hit him. And all of a sudden, there's a load of photos on the floor in front of him.
And a couple of trees fall down behind him.
Yeah, a couple of trees fall over behind him. I missed that. And then there's some photos, and it's like, what the hell's just happened there?
I thought they were
weird.
cards at first, but they were actually like Polaroids.
I've actually written here photo/cards and then crossed it out because they were like Polaroid photos. So he kind of freaks out a little bit and he turns back, doesn't he, to go back to the way he came. And he sees this tent.
Yeah.
And
it's like a safari tent. It's like a ye oldie.
It's basically just a bit of canvas and 2 bits of wood.
It's like the sort of thing Indiana Jones.
If you played Red Dead Redemption 2, it's like the tent's in that. But there's a clock on the outside and it's going quite quick.
Yeah, so it's going from like 12 to 10 past 12.
Yeah.
And then again and again and again.
Yeah.
And there's something in it.
You can hear something banging inside, but you're not quite sure what it was.
You just see a blur sort of going past the window.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's the end of that scene. And it was really like, this is now really ramping up, like something really weird's going on here.
Yeah.
So Justin goes straight to Hal. I said Hal that time. It's a good job. And he basically tells him exactly what just happened.
I just keep thinking of the dad out of Malcolm in the Middle every time you say Hal. Sorry. I'm prancing around on roller skates.
Yeah, and he basically tells him exactly what just happened. Hal says to him, I don't have the answers. I'm not the leader. I do not lead this camp. You've just got it into your head that I do.
Yeah.
But I don't. And I don't have any answers. And suddenly they look up into the sky. And what do they see when they look up in the sky, Nick?
It's gone off Star Wars because there's 2 moons.
There's 2 moons. That's really weird.
And
Justin questions it.
It kind of does a double take, yeah.
Yeah, like I did earlier. And he kind of questions it and Hal kind of palms it off as an atmospheric event. He says it's a bit like the Northern Lights. It's just one of those things. But he says if 2 moons is normal, but 3 moons signals the ascension.
Yeah.
That was the quote he used.
He does. And Hal sort of says to Justin, I'll tell you what, stay... Because Justin shows him this Polaroid.
Yeah.
And the Polaroid is the first time we get a proper good look at it.
Yeah.
And it is of the lake.
Yes.
And it's of a boy in a lake.
Yeah.
As in the floating
not a human.
Metal marker, not a small person. And Hal says, tell you what, stay one more day.
Yeah.
If you go back out into the lake and you dive down at that boy, you will find the answers you're looking for.
Which is really weird. It's a really weird thing to say.
Very strange.
Very strange.
In the meantime, Aaron's inside doing karaoke.
Yeah, everybody's just got drunk again.
Doing some drugs.
Guess what song he sang?
House of the Rising
Sun. And they've got their own drug that they've kind of created themselves. So they're doing that. Anna kind of gives him some, and they get high together.
Yeah.
And then Aaron notices there's 2 moons in the sky.
He does, yeah.
And Anna kind of gives him the same fumbled explanation of it's a weird atmospheric event.
And Anna tells Aaron that she didn't send the video either.
Yeah.
Because it was her who was in it.
Yeah, it was her that was in the video. And she's like, no, I've made some videos in case when the Ascension you guys turn up.
Yeah.
But we have not sent them out.
Correct.
We absolutely cannot have that video. So Justin bumps into another lady at this point.
Yeah, who we've not seen before.
We've never met this woman before. She's kind of crying, sitting on a doorstep or like on a step outside her house. So he goes over to make sure she's all right. And she basically just says to him, look, I can't sleep. Everyone's too noisy. And she says, I've been leaving these notes all around. So we know now who's leaving these notes.
Yes.
It's Jennifer. Basically, Justin says to her, how did you get here? Why are you here? And she says, well, I was looking, my husband went missing out in the woods.
Yeah.
And I've been looking for him. And Hal took me in, told me he'd help me look for him. And I've been here ever since.
But she doesn't really know how long that is.
No.
She doesn't think it's been very long.
Yeah.
Because she thinks, well, we're still looking for him.
Yeah. But
she can't put a timeline on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she kind of says it's been a few, and then she never finishes that sentence.
Correct.
She just trails off. It's really strange. I keep saying it's really strange, and
That's fine.
I think we've got that in our heads now. It is really strange.
Also, all the way through this, you get the odd shot where the camera just pans or focuses on this shed, which is locked, and we do not know what is in it.
It's got a massive padlock on it.
Almost like a Roger Rabbit cartoon padlock.
Yeah, it's
that big.
really, really big.
And Beardy Tim kind of seems to be watching over this shed.
Yeah, just standing there.
And we get another shot of it then.
Yeah. So they decide Justin and Aaron go fishing together again on the lake, same lake they went on the day before. Aaron suggests, well, maybe we should just stay here now. Life would be easier if we were here.
Yeah.
Because life out there is shit. We're not making any money. We're living together. It's boring. Nothing's happening. The day-to-day slog, grind is difficult. If we stayed here, we'd have an easier life. And Justin's not convinced, and then suddenly takes his clothes off.
But he's not
he's not against it in any way. No.
He's more open-minded than he was when he walked in, it's fair to say, a couple of days ago.
Yeah, agreed.
He doesn't dismiss it outright straight away.
No. But he also doesn't say yes, and what he basically does is takes his clothes off.
He does.
So, kind of behind Aaron sitting on the boat, he just strips down to his boxers and dives into the lake.
Yep.
He's down there for quite a while. It's a little bit of time passes.
Yeah, so Aaron's starting to worry. Cause
after a little while, Aaron starts to freak out a little bit, so he
Yeah.
starts to take his shoes off.
Yeah, he's about to go in after him.
And then suddenly Justin bursts out of the water on the other side of the boat.
He does.
And he's got this box with him.
Yeah, he's got a lockbox.
And he's freaking out because he says something held him down while he was down there.
Yeah.
Something grabbed him. Did they go back to shore?
No, there's an overhead shot
of course,
of the boat.
There's like a drone shot.
And yeah, the camera, it pans out and we're suddenly above them. And underneath the boat, you just see this humongous shadowy
shape.
Face / shape.
Yeah.
/ monstrous thing.
Yeah.
Underneath them.
I don't know if we've...
Unbeknownst to them.
Yeah, they can't see it, but I don't know if we've made it aware of this, but this cult do worship this like deity that they believe lives around them.
They just keep... No, we've just had hints so far that there is something bigger than us here. That's a couple of times.
I was convinced of that, and they're all a bit convinced of that. And they get back to the shore, and Justin's like, right, I'm going. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm leaving now.
And Aaron agrees pretty quickly.
He's like, fair enough, let's go home.
Fine.
We're done.
We're in the morning, we're off. First thing in the morning, we're off.
They kind of get back together with Hal and the rest of them at this point as well. Is
Yeah,
it night time?
I think it's back together for dinner. And
yeah. And Hal says, right, let's play the tape. Because in this, did we say that? In the lockbox, in the lockbox that Justin found at the bottom of the lake is another cassette tape.
There is, yeah.
And Hal says, let's play it and see these are your answers. Let's see what's on it. And basically it's footage of Justin, like...
It's Justin and Aaron just after they have escaped from the camp.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
It's like the news reports, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like most of the guys who live at the camp have never seen this footage. So they don't know the stories that Justin's been telling. And this is the first time they're kind of seeing that.
Yeah. And he's giving an interview to the news saying, yeah, they're all crazy UFO death cult guys.
Yeah.
all the males have got no balls. They've all been castrated, or which we still don't know if it's true or not.
No,
but it's a story we've been told since the start.
Yeah, it's basically Justin exposing them to the press. Aaron kind of freaks out and leaves, doesn't he? And Justin and Hal both follow him, and they have a bit of a freeway argument going on.
Yeah,
Hal says, "Well, nobody here's castrated," and that kind of twigs in Aaron's mind at that point then that Justin has lied about this, and what else has he lied about?
Yeah, Hal sort of says, Justin, you've always wanted to lead.
Yeah.
You're a control freak. That's why you left in the first place, because you couldn't lead. There's no leaders here. He reiterates that. And then it was quite funny, and it kind of, but I think it was meant to be. Hal's got this line where he's like, where it sort of twigs in his mind. He's like, "You're the reason we're not selling any beer anymore." People think we're a crazy UFO death cult.
It's probably right.
All we're trying to do is live our life quietly, sell our moonshine. You bastard! Get out.
And he does. Justin admits straight away. He's like, "Yeah, I made that up."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Right, I'm going." He leaves. He gets back to his car, and his car won't start. Oh no! Before he does that, Hal explains about the mother's car crash, doesn't he? Because he says he rescued them from his mother's burning car.
Yeah. So it turns out Hal had pulled them out.
Hal brought them into camp, and he was the one who had pulled them out, and he gave them shelter. And then this is how he gets repaid.
So they ostracised Justin, basically.
Justin calls him a fucking cult leader.
Yeah.
And just screams in his face, "You're a fucking cult leader." And Justin walks away, he leaves, he gets back to his car.
Well, Hal says, "You're not welcome here.
You're not welcome here, get out." So he goes back to his car, but his car won't start. So he decides he's going to walk.
He does.
So he walks off into the forest, or into the woods, or wherever he is. But Aaron stays. He's not going anywhere. And so we kind of followed Justin now for quite a long time. Don't we?
He's lost in the creepy woods very quickly.
Leave Aaron. He gets lost quite quickly. As he's walking through, he sees this giant... Is it a snake on the floor? He sees something on the floor.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden it wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, it kind of spins him round, and suddenly he's lost. He's not where he was a second ago.
Yeah. He finds a house. And I would say house loosely.
Cabin.
It's more like a cabin. Yeah, it's more like a little shed. And he goes inside, and there's a man hanging from the rafters.
He's obviously been hanging there for quite some time. He's very grey.
He is.
But peely.
But it's the man from earlier on.
Who was marching around.
Who was marching, the walking man from earlier. And suddenly, this same man bursts out of this cabin, out of nowhere. Justin craps himself.
He's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Yeah, proper screaming at him. So this is Carl.
Shitty Carl.
He's credited in the film as Shitty Carl.
And we learn his name in a couple of scenes time, but yes, this is Shitty Carl.
This is Shitty Carl.
Which, we talked about the Botskas earlier.
Yeah.
I'm thinking one category could be best character name. This guy's the front runner, I tell you.
Do you reckon?
I'll have to go back through and find out some other good ones.
I don't think we've ever had many good
Shitty
ones.
Shitty Carl's right up there.
I think I used to know him. This guy is kind of... You mentioned Captain Exposition the other week. This guy is kind of that.
He is a bit. But he's talking... He's also... It's a bit... At least they've tried to put a spin on it, because he's going a mile a minute. He's
heavily southern accent.
Got a couple of screws loose.
He's drunk, I think. He's got a real... You cannot understand a word of what he's saying, basically. But they've given the job of explaining what this film is about to this guy.
He basically says... He says straight away, so we're not working out slowly. He straight away says, we're around the edges of the camp.
Yeah.
And we're stuck in a time loop.
Yeah.
He says us, so implying he's not the only one.
Yeah. He calls himself a time prisoner.
Yeah.
He's like, we're time prisoners, and we're all living in little loops. And you have to kill yourself before the restart, or that thing will do it for you.
Yeah.
He kind of points up into the forest.
And he says we're just here repeating ourselves for its entertainment.
Yeah. And I've written on my notes here, that seems important. Why is a man who can't talk explaining it to me? But I get a bit later on, you kind of understand why they did it, because they don't want you to know exactly what's going on, and you really have to concentrate on what this guy's saying, because he's, like we said, he's southern, he's drunk, he's talking 100 miles an hour. It's really difficult to get to grips with what he's saying, but I think that's intentional now.
Yeah,
when I wrote that, I was quite annoyed. Yeah, and they kind of just sit there and chat about it, don't they?
He draws Justin a map.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah,
and a map of these loops.
Yeah, yeah, because it's like
that are dotted around the area that they're in.
There's like markers all around as well, isn't there?
Yeah,
that kind of marks where they are.
So they mark the edge of the camp.
Yes,
I thought.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And then these little loops
around
which we now have a tour at the edge of the camp.
Yeah. And so you can follow the markers to get to the next bunch of people who are stuck in these time loops. And that's the kind of the map he drew on them.
And he says he wants a gun.
Yeah.
So he says to Justin, he says, I can't move out of my loop.
Yeah.
Can you? But you obviously can. You've come
bring
from the
stuff
camp.
into it.
Can you go and get me a gun from, what does he call him? Weird Chris or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But it's definitely Chris. I was sure he had a prefix as well.
No, you're right. But he also says to Justin, if you're going to leave, don't get stuck in the borders when the loops reset.
Yeah.
Because you'll be there forever.
Yeah.
Be careful. Justin he's not buying it straight away, is he? And he's like, because he's quite cynical.
Yeah, of course. This is a lot of information coming out of nowhere.
So the dude, Shitty Carl, gets his cigarette and he kind of flicks it into the forest.
Yeah.
And it disappears out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's like goes through a portal or whatever.
And then he follows it and just disappears into thin air. And then bursts out of the door behind Justin again. And it all starts again.
Because he's contained to his little geographical area.
Yeah. His time loop seems to be about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's just stuck there.
So he asks Justin to get a gun from Chris, and he says, he draws him a map and he gives him a compass.
Yeah.
And he says to Justin, you need to trust this compass.
Yeah.
Follow the compass, use the map, do trust the compass, not what you can see with your eyes.
Don't trust yourself, trust the compass. Yeah. In the middle of all that, we do get a little scene back with Aaron at the camp with a few people sitting around the campfire, and Hal and Anna and, what was his name, Beardy Tim.
Yep.
They were all there, and Hal and Tim are kind of having this row in the
background.
Off, you can't hear what they're saying.
Yeah, you can just
clearly see that they're not happy.
And Aaron's perturbed because it's the first time he's seen that. He's got this idyllic view of this place, and you can clearly see the the cogs ticking in his brain. That actually, well, maybe it's not all as it seems here.
Yeah, and Tim kind of stalks back over to Aaron at full pelt.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Don't do it if you don't want to."
Yeah.
And then just walks away.
Yeah.
What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what Aaron was thinking, I think. 2 more photos fall at Aaron's feet at that point as well, just as he's walking away from Tim. And they're a photo of himself
looking
at that
moment,
the sky.
Yeah.
Looking at that sky. I couldn't tell what the other one was. I don't think it was important.
No, because he just dropped that one.
Yeah, he just left that one. It's like, oh, this one's not me.
So it's like something is watching him right now, this second.
Yeah. So Hal tells him to go to follow a path to find Justin. He points out the way to go.
Yeah, because I was like, I feel really bad about what happened. I need to try and find him. And Hal says, yeah, totally understand that.
If you go down there, you'll find a path. Follow the path, you'll find Justin.
Eventually you'll find him.
But
he tells him he needs to make his choice before the third moon is full.
Interesting. So Aaron kind of steps out of the border of the camp, which is what these markers are marking.
Yeah.
And Anna's kind of following him, and he looks back and she looks over, but they can't see each other.
No, even though they're as close as you and I are now.
Yeah.
She can't see out.
Because they're separated by the border.
Yeah.
She can't see out, he can't see back in again. They can still see.
Yeah.
But it's like they're not there. That's really weird. And then we meet up with Chris, who is tied to the wall.
Yeah, so Justin comes across another cabin.
Yes.
As he's continuing his trek.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's
a man tied to the wall.
Yeah.
Sitting on a mattress.
He's handcuffed to a radiator.
Yeah. Now, this is probably where we should mention that this is the point that's the sequel to their first film.
Yeah.
I've not seen that film, so I can't tell you much about what it's about, but essentially it's about a man trying to get clean and sober and his best mate helping him.
Yep.
And that's exactly...
So they've retreated to a cabin, and Mike has tied his friend Chris
to the wall. And that's essentially what that film was about, I think. But I do want to watch that. I'm intrigued to see if I can find it anywhere. When Justin walks into this cabin, he finds Chris. Chris doesn't seem surprised to see him either.
Nope.
He just kind of walks in and he's there. And they basically explain that, don't they? Chris is trying to get clean. Mike's there trying to help him get clean.
And they're totally aware. They say, "Yeah, we're stuck in a time loop."
Yeah, they're completely aware of it.
We know that we're living this over and over again,
yeah.
and Mike basically says we're trying different things to see what will break it.
He says, "Yeah, he calls it the Rubik's Cube, doesn't he?
Yeah.
We're trying to do different things every time to see if they can break that loop." Because I think does he say it's 7 days? Theirs? I think he says
they've been there for a week or so.
Yeah, I think their time loop's a week.
Yeah,
which must be so frustrating. And so Justin asks Chris for the gun, and Mike says, "Yeah, I'll just go and get you a gun.
Yeah,
no problem." So Mike wanders off and gets him a gun. Then they kind of find where did this video come from?
It was a hard drive.
Was it a hard? So somebody dug it up.
It was Mike. He'd found a hard drive in the dirt outside, and they plugged it in while Justin was there.
And you don't see what's on it.
Oh, I didn't. I thought it was just sound.
Maybe it was just sound.
But it's basically
either way, you don't see anything.
No, it's basically the sound of
somebody getting killed. Murder. Yeah, there's somebody screaming and somebody getting murdered. And Justin says to him, "When was this?" And Mike says, it could be the past or future. It's all the same.
Yeah,
doesn't matter. And Mike gives him the gun, and he says to Justin, "Just run run like your life depends on it.
Yeah,
because it does.
If you see it, just run.
Yeah. And this is the point where Aaron finds the tent
From earlier.
which
So like the old 1800s tent.
I think this is the bit that's my favourite point of this film.
Okay.
Because this is the kind of the bit where you really get what's going on. So Aaron stalks up to this tent slowly because he can hear somebody inside it.
Yeah.
And there's a clock on the wall outside that's ticking forward every like 5 seconds.
So he goes a lot closer than Justin ever did previously.
And the clock's moving like 5 seconds and then reverting back again. And there's a man inside the tent sitting on a chair, and he kind of runs towards the entrance to the tent.
Yeah.
And then he's back on the chair again. So this guy's stuck in a 5-second time loop.
Yeah.
Which is much worse than a 7-day one. I know I said the 7-day one would be horrible. And he looks like
he's just like charging full pelt at the wall, basically, isn't he?
And he looks like he's old.
Screaming.
He looks like he's been there since like the tent's like 1800s.
Yeah.
Could have been there for 200 years for all we know. But he's just repeating this same loop every 5 seconds.
And so we watched this a few times, and then he notices that Aaron's looking in through the window.
Yeah.
And that's really creepy. And he says to him, "Don't stay here."
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And then he runs at the wall and just explodes in a shower of blood.
Yeah. But then he'd reset again.
Yeah.
It must be... It's scary. That's scary. To thought that to get stuck in something
creepy.
like that. It was creepy. That was a scary moment, but I think it was my favourite bit of the film.
And then we come back to Justin, and he is just gearing up to leave Mike and Chris's cabin. So he wraps the gun up.
Yeah.
Puts it in his backpack.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they get onto it, but Mike sort of says, "I've got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I've got to break this loop.
Yeah.
Because I want to go back and see my wife."
They get onto it because Justin says to him, "How long have you been stuck in this loop?"
Oh, okay.
And he says, "I've no idea, but I really miss my wife,
Yeah.
and I really need to get back to see her." And she used to leave me notes.
Yeah.
And I used to really like that. So are we supposed to assume from that this is the lady that we met earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Jennifer.
Not a doubt in my mind.
So Justin leaves. He leaves them there.
Yeah.
Because he needs to get out.
He
Because
doesn't tell him
No, he doesn't tell him.
that he's met his wife.
No. He needs to get out because he knows their time loop's about to reset again.
Yeah.
So he leaves, and in the background you can see Mike starting to douse the house in fuel, covering it in petrol or whatever it is, and then he sets the house on fire.
Yeah.
And himself. You don't see it, but you see it from Justin's perspective.
Yeah.
You see something glitch out on the screen, and then you hear Mike greeting Chris.
Yeah.
It's like, "Mate,
So
I'm
they're
here."
back at the start. Yeah.
And they're back at the start again. And so their time loop's restarted.
And then Justin realises he's left his map
Yes.
in there. But I didn't really like that because it didn't matter.
It didn't really matter because he'd used it.
Yeah.
But they did focus back on the map burning.
Yeah, but it was played like, "Oh, that's really important. Shit, he's left the map."
But it wasn't.
But it wasn't. It was never
never referenced again, and the map only took him to there anyway.
Just because it just stuck out to me because everything in this was very planned and deliberate, and that just I was like, "Well, why have we focused on that? It didn't matter." But there we
Maybe
go.
it does. Maybe it's on a different level to what we're thinking about it. So Justin kind of starts walking back the way he came. He's kind of heading his way back to shitty Carl's house or whatever it was called. And all of a sudden, this caravan appears out of nowhere.
Yeah, like an RV.
RV. And a big cat.
Yeah, like a cougar.
Yeah, it wasn't a tiger, but it was some sort of big cat.
Or a mountain lion, something like that.
And that kind of glitches into the screen, but then it just walks away from him, doesn't it? It leaves him. But the caravan stays there. And Aaron appears.
Yeah.
And we have a reunion of our brothers. Aaron finds Justin out of nowhere. And they walk up to this caravan. And there's kind of a projector.
Yeah, so there's no one there. There's basically a note on the door saying, "I've gone, help yourself to anything. I've gone looking, right, I'm not here.
This person isn't there."
Yeah.
But the caravan appears to be stuck in this time loop.
Yeah.
And a film starts playing on, because there's like a sheet hanging over a washing line.
Yeah.
And a projector set up in front of it. And the film is of them two, the conversation that Aaron and Justin have just had.
Yeah.
About them getting back together. But then on the screen, it kind of pans around and you see the film start playing on the screen. So it's like 2 layers deep now. And then all of a sudden, the projector just shoots miles out into the sky, and you get like a long shot of this desert that they're in. And there's loads of little bubbles.
Yeah.
All over the
little pockets.
little pockets of
Little domes.
energy.
Time domes.
Yeah. Time domes.
Which I presume these are all the little different loops with people stuck
I would
in.
imagine so. They're all these people stuck inside these little bubbles.
And Aaron and
there's loads
Justin
of them.
don't see the projector shoot off.
No.
Because they've left.
left by that
And
point.
I'm presuming, correct me if I'm wrong, my thinking is this is because the thing, whatever this thing is pissed off that they've got back together.
Yeah.
So it's like angry. Hence it.
Yeah.
Throwing a hissy fit, basically.
It's not happy about it in the slightest. there's a really strange conversation now because Aaron says, "Oh, I slept with Anna last night."
Yeah, Justin's like, "Oh, congratulations,
Well done." Even though he thinks she's a paedophile, and then it turns out that they literally just slept next to each other.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything, and it was almost like he was a child at that point.
It was
like, it was really strange.
Yeah.
I've said strange so much in this episode.
But that again, that was a little bit out of whack with what we'd seen before.
Yeah.
Character-wise. Not to him, he was innocent through this, but not that naive.
I may have an explanation.
Right, okay.
Do you want me to do it now? I'll do it at the end.
Okay, fine.
This episode's going to be the longest one we've done by a country mile. And they eventually get back to Shitty Carl's house.
They do, yeah.
But he's not there. And they leave him the gun on his table.
Yep.
And leave instantly. They don't hang around. Suddenly Carl bursts. We've seen this for the third time now. He bursts out of his door all ranty. And he's like, he notices the gun on the table. He's like, "Ooh, a gun. A different way to try and kill myself." And he shoots himself in the head.
Yep.
And I'm not sure, because you don't see him shoot himself in the head. You just see the blood splatter up the walls.
Yeah.
But was the blood already there?
Not sure.
I think it was already there. I think it might not have been the first time that had happened. Okay. Assumedly, from the rules that we're learning from this film, he would just burst out that door again straight away anyway, but you don't see that.
So Aaron says to Justin, "I have decided I want to stay."
Yes.
He says...
This was a really good conversation, I thought.
This was a sick burn. Because Aaron says, "I want to stay. I would rather be stuck in an endless loop than be stuck in a shitty existence, because anything is better than the life you make me live."
Wow. That's more than a sick burn. That's horrible.
Yeah.
It's almost mean.
Yeah, totally.
It is mean. But yeah, he did say he'd rather die over and over again than go back to the life that you make me lead.
So they get back to the camp. Justin kind of doesn't really, well, what can he say to that? Yeah. Like, they get back to the camp and it's pretty much deserted.
Yeah.
But we see Tim unlocking the massive cartoon lock from the shed.
It's a huge padlock.
Yeah.
And you also see 3 moons in the sky.
Yes.
For the first time. So what does 3 moons signal?
The ascension.
The ascension. Yeah. So Tim lets them into this room. And what's in the room?
Oh, it's just stacks and stacks of videos, tapes.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything more advanced than a VHS.
No, if it wasn't modern.
Cassettes.
There was like
8
film
tracks,
reels. Yeah.
Film reels.
Yeah.
And you see a sort of some dates on them, and it's like 70s, 60s, 50s.
Yeah. It's been going on for a long time.
Yeah. It's quite the archive.
And one starts playing on the screen.
It does.
And it's basically little clips of the film that we've seen earlier today. It's stuff that's happened. And the last clip is everyone standing in a circle outside.
Yeah. Live footage, basically. So they're all the remainder of the people in the camp are all stood in a circle around the campfire, basically.
And they suddenly look up into the sky. Aaron kind of freaks out because he wants to be involved in this now. So he goes running out, but by the time they get there, everybody's gone.
Yeah.
They've all kind of disappeared.
Yeah, there's like just a pulpy, clothy mess on the floor where they all stood.
It was a bit like Night of the Comet.
Yeah. As they went, it was the same noise that we heard on the hard drive at Chris and Mike's. So that like murder noise, it was all the camp people being ascended. Yeah. Basically.
Justin at this point decides that he's staying too. He said, "I'd feel guilty if I left you, so I'm going to stay."
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, all fucking hell breaks loose.
It does.
This deity, or whatever it is that they're worshipping, is going batshit crazy.
Really trying not to say smoke monster.
It was a little bit like the Lost Smoke Monster. I'll give you that. But it seemed to be bigger.
It was a bit more fiery.
A lot more fire. There was flame everywhere, fireballs.
It's coming out of the woods.
Yeah, everything was going crazy. And the whole place was going up in flame. There were trees flying through the air. It was insane.
So it was quite, again, it was done quite humorously, because just like you said, Justin says, "Right, well, I'll feel guilty if I leave you.
Yeah.
So if you're staying, I'm staying." Then all that kicks off in the distance behind them, and Aaron just goes,
"Fuck this.
Let's go.
Let's get out of here." So they both leg it back to their car, and they get in the car, and you can see this deity's coming after them.
Yep. But they've got to try and kind of roll start it.
Yeah, because it won't start, because the car never starts. But they get it going, and they do manage to escape, and you can see...
They do. There's an interesting bit, because they swap. They're having a silly argument as they're pushing this car. It's all shit's kicking off behind them.
Yeah.
And Aaron's like, "You never let me drive. I want to drive." And it's about Justin giving
the control.
some trust to his brother because he's like, okay, we'll swap sides.
You drive.
Yeah.
And you can see them kind of heading towards the border because you can see these two poles, marker posts that make the border. But you can also see them coming the other way at the same time. So they look like they're about to crash into themselves.
Yeah. And the surface of the dome is reflecting at them, basically.
The back,
you can see it suddenly.
So they drive straight through it and it kind of cuts at that point as soon as they hit it. The ending's really weird in this, and that's why I'm struggling with it. They kind of drive off.
They're out.
They've managed to get out of this bubble somehow. And you can see the rest of the campers there standing at the entrance.
Yeah.
And they kind of look at them. And Tim puts his hand on Hal's shoulder as if to comfort him.
Yeah.
And then they turn back towards the camp.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It's all done. I hesitate to say what do you think because there's so much theorising you could do. We could do another hour on this if we wanted to, I'm sure. But
yeah, sure.
What did you think of it overall?
What did I think? Are we doing what did I think of it or what do you think happened?
Let's do what did you think of it first.
It was good. It was a good movie.
I really liked it.
It was definitely a thinker. I mean, you could not. I mean, that's what I like about this show so much. We veer so much from stuff that you know is designed to be entertainment. You just stick on in the background.
Yeah,
absolute brainless fodder like last week.
Yeah,
and then something like this, which is a real character piece.
Yeah,
and there's a lot to digest. You turn away from this for a few minutes and
I had to rewind it a couple of times.
You're lost.
I'm like, because we were making notes, I was like, shit, I've just missed that. I don't know what's going on.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. It was intriguing.
It's a really good film.
When you do start to unpack it, it's not that complicated.
No, it feels more complicated. It's a proper thinker. It feels more complex.
Yes, but that's because it's asking you to put the pieces together.
Yeah, it doesn't give you any explanation. There's no theory that's incorrect in this. Whatever you think is happening is probably happening. It's left to you to make that decision.
It was a real pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I agree.
I enjoyed it.
I agree. It was right up my street. It reminded me a lot of films like we've watched a few films like this. We've watched films like Triangle, Safety Not Guaranteed, Primer, Looper. There's loads of these kind of time travel-y type of films, and it fits perfectly in with those as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I always find it quite a fascinating sort of genre and subject.
I do. I love time travel.
Alternate realities and time travel stuff and loops and
certainly
that
different
sort of
to anything we've watched before. There's no film that we can compare it to on either stream table.
No, I mean
maybe that one with the dreamy one in the first season.
Yeah, a little bit
between Bottom of the World,
but that wasn't as clever as this.
Nowhere near.
This reminded me a lot of two films you mentioned there, so Primer and Safety Not Guaranteed. Yeah. This was definitely of that sort of ilk.
Yeah,
kind of in the middle of them really, because it wasn't as light-hearted as Safety Not Guaranteed.
It wasn't,
and it wasn't as
fucking mental as Primer. If you've not seen Primer,
that is dense.
That is so difficult to watch. It is
great, but dense.
Really great. You could watch that. I reckon you could watch that film 50 times and still not know what was going on. It's insane. Go out if you've enjoyed watching this, which I'm sure you have. Go out and watch Primer. Go out and watch Safety Not Guaranteed. Go out and watch Triangle. Looper is probably the most mainstream one of them.
I have to say I was really impressed with the performances in this as well.
Considering they're not really actors.
Yeah,
I agree.
Particularly Justin.
Yeah,
I thought he was excellent.
Yeah, he was. He played his brooding older brother role really well.
I was really invested in his character. I definitely was like, you fact the amount of danger he was clearly putting himself in, just to sort of appease and prove something to his little brother.
Yeah,
I thought he was excellent, and the guy who played Hal was very good as well.
Yeah, he was. He was really weird and creepy, wasn't he?
What did you think?
I really enjoyed it. I think it's definitely one of the better films we've seen.
Yeah,
it's right on my street. I love these time travel-y type. I haven't stopped thinking about it for 24 hours.
Good.
Literally all day at work today, I was like, I wonder if this works. And I've read more about it than I've read on any of the films we've seen. It's trying to get my head around it.
It's definitely a hidden gem.
Definitely. 100%. It's definitely a hidden gem. So I've got a question for you.
Yep.
What the fuck happened?
So basically, my reading of this is, the two brothers were rescued by Hal.
Yeah.
Just inside where the crash happened.
Yeah.
And their mother died in the car. They were just inside the loop of the camp. And because they were not at the camp long enough to die, so they didn't live through a full loop, they were able to escape.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
They weren't stuck there.
Yeah.
Because I think you have to die in one of the time bubbles to be stuck there.
Yeah. or get stuck in the time bubble at the end of the bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, which would kill you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, Justin rescued them quickly enough. They've gone back, coincidentally, and yeah, okay, but you've got to
So
have
are we
it to
thinking
drive
that the camp's time bubble is 10 years?
Well, he says it was 10 years that they've been away,
Yeah.
so it
it's
must
got
be
to
about...
a 10-year time loop.
So they must have gone in, they must have first gone in just after it reset,
Yeah.
and now they're going back before the end of the
next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I understood it as well.
And again, they were able to escape before they were caught in the reset.
Yeah.
Basically, that's as simple as it is.
And they've never been stuck in it when it resets,
Yeah.
so they're not affected by it, which is the reason why they were able to move around between the different bubbles.
But
that's exactly how I understood it as well. So,
and but basically they were called back by this being.
Yeah.
Because he had unfinished business with them.
Yeah, the being sends the tape, the being gives them the photos and the other tape and the hard drive.
Yeah.
To try and game with them, to try and get them back.
Yeah, and that's why it was annoyed when they got back together, because it had split them apart, and it thought...
I think it nearly had Aaron. This is my theory of why they left that time loop 10 years ago. And, you know, when he says that he slept with Anna, but he didn't, and he was like he was a child.
Yeah.
It nearly had him back, and he kind of regressed back those 10 years.
Yes.
That's how I understood it at that point. So, because nobody else had aged, but obviously because they'd left, they had aged. So that was my theory on why he said that.
There's so much going on here. That whole side plot about Jennifer and her husband, Mike.
Yeah.
So they're stuck in two separate bubbles, so they're never going to see each other again.
Yeah.
They can't leave their own loop that they're stuck in. Yeah. There's enough there for a film on its own.
Yeah. Well, there has been.
No, but...
Yeah, I know what you mean,
Yeah. You could have loads of offshoots of this.
I'm sure they will. I don't think they'll leave this universe here. They're working on a film together at the minute.
Right. Okay.
So I don't know if it'll tie in. I don't know.
I enjoyed this enough that I would definitely
seek out their other work.
Yeah. Well, and what comes in the future. There's just potential. There's some loads of great ideas here.
The man stuck in the 5-second loop. That terrified me.
That was creepy.
It was so creepy, and it's like the thought of that is just horrendous.
I mean, because let's not be, the CGI special effects at the end when the thing is chasing them is pretty shonky.
Yeah, but this is probably the lowest budget.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Considering how low the budget is, that's because that's the biggest scale thing that happens. Everything else in this is done really well to the budget.
Yeah.
So especially like I said, the overhead shot with the thing under the water. Like when the storage cabins are jumping around. And, and I really like Shitty Carl as well. I thought he was funny.
He was really good.
So it had a good mix to this. Like I say, when it was funny, it was funny. It was creepy. It was loopy, timey-wimey. That's always intriguing to me. So
I agree.
It was a real pleasant surprise.
There is a line right at the end of the film that might put scorn on your theory there, or our theory. Because right at the end, when Justin's let Aaron drive the car, and he says, "There's no fuel in the car. We need to stop and get fuel." And Aaron says, "Oh, it'll be fine. There's never any fuel."
Yeah.
Does that mean they've lived it all before, or is that a red herring?
I just took it as the
car's never got any fuel in it.
No, I think it had fuel in it. I just took it as the meter's broken. Yeah.
But it could mean that they've lived it before, and the only time.
I think you're reaching, but I think they want you to reach.
Yeah, I think it's a red herring.
I think it was literally just the fuelometer's broken.
I do think it's a red herring, but I like the fact that there's foresight to put that sort of thing in there. Oh, every time Aaron drives his car, there's no fuel in it.
Because Justin says, "Oh, it was empty on the way."
Yeah, he does.
Way here or something like that. So I think it's just literal, but
I
you're
agree.
right. It's open to interpret.
It's a red herring, and it's nice that they've thought to put those things like that in there. Yeah, I loved it. Did you come up with a trivia question?
Yes, I've got two.
Do you want me to go first?
No, it's my turn to go first.
Is it your turn to go first?
You went first last week.
Go on then.
I think you're
looking right into my eyes. It's quite.
I am, because one of them I think might be yours.
Okay.
But you did that to me last week.
Yeah, you do owe me one of them.
And the other one I think is a bit harsh, so I'm going to be nice.
Mine's not easy, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
But
we've not talked about. So we talked about this camp all the way through. We've not said what it's called. What was the name of the camp?
I do know that.
Okay.
It was called Camp Arcadia.
It was. Well done.
Yes. What does that put me on the scores?
6?
6, 7? Do you? Mine's a bit more difficult than that.
Okay.
Midway through this film, Justin's being shown a few magic tricks by a guy.
Yeah.
One of them's a card trick.
Yeah.
And he says to Justin, pick a card.
Yeah.
Justin picks a card. Do you know the card that he picked?
It's a red.
It was.
It's a king.
It is.
Oh, crap. Right,
50-50 chance. There is reasoning behind it as well, which you want to talk about.
Is there?
Yeah.
I didn't pick that up.
I didn't either. It's on IMDb's trivia.
Oh, right, okay. It is the King of Hearts.
Well done. It is the King of Hearts.
Yes.
How did you know that? Is that a good guess?
No, I knew it was a king. And I was
50-50 on it.
I was pretty sure it was red. But I've not written that down. That's
well done.
Yeah.
No, if you've got that, genuinely got that, I'm impressed. Yeah. Apparently, the King of Hearts, I didn't know this, but the King of Hearts is known as the Suicide King.
Oh, really?
Because his sword is shown behind his head.
Oh.
And nobody else's is. So
nice.
they know him as the suicide, and this is a suicide cult
I like a little
as far as
fact
Justin's
like
concerned. Yeah, I like that. Well done. So
excellent.
I've lost track.
8-6.
8-6 to you.
Yeah. I am on a roll.
4 more to go.
Yeah.
It's going to be close. It's going to be close. We're going to have to watch these films religiously next few weeks. Should we talk about the stream table?
Sure.
I presume I'm going to read from the top this week.
Yeah.
So currently at number 1, we've got Hush. Number 2 is What Keeps You Alive. Number 3 is The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot. Stop Me When I Need to Stop. Handsome is at number 4. The Babysitter's at number 5.
Yeah, it's top 5 for me.
Yeah, I agree. Top 5 for me. Ooh, whose turn is it to talk?
I genuinely can't remember who went first last time.
Go on.
I'm either putting this 3rd or 4th.
I'm pretty with you there.
I'm tempted. No, is it?
You're looking at The Man Who Kills Hitler and Then the Bigfoot.
Yeah,
me too. I think it's a better film than that.
But
I
think it probably is. I think it's more inventive. It is more. It takes more risks. It's more. Is it more rewarding? That's the thing I'm struggling with, because
that film is really good.
The Man Who Killed Hitler and the Bigfoot was.
It was a real feel-good film, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, it really did hit me in the feels.
Yeah,
but they're both great, so I probably can't really quibble which side we go. If you're really pushing me, I maybe put it 4th. I'm not.
I'm pretty sure of it going into 3rd. I'm debating whether it goes into 2nd, but I don't think it does.
Not quite for me.
I'd happily put it in 3rd, and it is a really strong top 4 if we do that.
Totally, yeah.
Really
totally.
strong.
I'd accede
as much as I loved The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot, this film's more up my street. This is the sort of film that when we started the podcast, this is the sort of film I wanted to find.
Sure. Yeah.
Something that
100%.
makes me think and ponder and theorize, because I love doing that sort of thing. Like you said earlier, it's got a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of similarities to Lost.
Yeah.
And me and when Lost was on back in the day, me and you, that's all we did. So all day, every day, we would just text each other about theories about what the hell was going on in Lost. This sort of gave me that same sort of, I really want to think about this film. And I think that's why it's better than that for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Have we found the 3rd best film of the series this late on?
I know.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, let's put it there.
3rd.
Yeah.
Happy with that. That's a good little find. Well done, randomizer.
Yeah.
Right.
Came up trumps.
Very quickly, because I'm very well aware that we've gone really long in this episode. We're not using the randomizer this week.
What?
We're not using the randomizer this week. We have another Patreon. His name is Ross. And he has picked our next film because he joined the Patreon at the $10 tier.
Yes.
And that gives him a wild card.
Oh.
Wild card.
Late wild card.
So, yep. He had to play it because we're running out of time to play it. So I made him play it. He has picked a film. Obviously, he has access to the long list, as we know. And he has picked a film from the long list that he put on the long list himself.
Okay.
So he's very confident in this one, I believe. He has picked a film called Animal World.
Oh, right.
Have you ever heard of Animal World?
Not at all.
Right. I'm going to read you the synopsis. I'm then going to read you what Ross says about it.
Okay.
Then I'm going to show you the trailer.
Great.
So I must admit, I have seen the trailer because I couldn't resist. It says, a man finds himself in debt. A man finds himself deep in debt and is coerced to board a ship that hosts a risky gambling party.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to know who's in this film?
Yes, please.
Michael Douglas.
Oh, excellent.
I think it's Japanese.
Yeah.
I might be wrong by that. It's definitely Eastern. What do they call
Asian?
it? Asian. That's it. Not Eastern.
Well, it's not. You sure it's not Korean? We're not going on.
Don't think it's Korean. I think it's
With
crazy
Parasite,
Japanese. I think it's crazy Japanese.
Okay.
But I'll stand corrected next week if I'm wrong. Let me just find what Ross said about it. He's put, I asked him to play his wild card. He put, I play Animal World. My reasons are, it's one of the most batshit crazy films I've ever seen.
Okay, great.
Stealing my catchphrases. And the maths in it reminded me of The Cube.
Okay. Throwback.
Yeah. I really look forward to hearing you guys tackling it. So in summary, action, romance, batshit crazy, clowns, monsters, batshit crazy, maths, rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, I love a good. My kids love playing rock, paper, scissors.
Do they?
Yeah.
I'm the king of that. I'll beat them at that. Easily.
We'll have a game next week. Right, we're doing that. We'll do
Next
it on
week.
next week's episode. We'll have a.
I don't know how it works in audio, but we'll
We
do it.
have to speak it. We'll do it.
So yeah, that was Ross's synopsis of it. Action, romance, batshit crazy, clowns, monsters, batshit crazy, maths, rock, paper, scissors.
Great.
I'm excited for this one.
I tell you what we'll do. We're not having trivia next week. We're having a game of rock, paper, scissors. Winner gets a point.
Oh, okay. I'm up for that. So I've got a chance with that.
Yeah.
Do you want to watch the trailer for Animal World?
I do.
I prefer to think of this as a life-changing opportunity. The countdown begins now.
I'm in. I'm all in.
Wow, is all I'm saying about that. Wow. I'm excited for that one. It's going to be an interesting episode.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Another foreign language one by the looks of it, so it's going to be fun making notes again. And it looks like it's going to be fucking crazy to make notes.
We did a foreign language film in our first season, and it did very well. So
it did, indeed.
Let's see.
Cool. So we'll be back next week to talk about Animal World.
Cheers.
Bye.